Merhabalar, ben Şükrü. P2P'nin bu bölümünde Wiser'ın 5 kurucusundan biri olan Toma ile birlikte olacağız. Bu bölümde bir Bitcoin öğrenim platformu olan Wiser'ı birlikte size tanıtacağız. Hi Toma.
Hey Şükrü, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good, thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, you are working together with Wiser, and today I want to talk about Wiser, obviously. So, what is Wiser? What kind of a team do you have, and what are your plans? So we can start talking about it.
Yeah, of course, I would love to do that. So basically, Wiser is here to bring education to everyone. So basically, it comes from a pain point that we faced as co-founders. So maybe to give a little background on the company. So we're 5 co-founders, and we've bootstrapped this company. We're very passionate about Bitcoin, but not just Bitcoin, Bitcoin finance and economics. So every topic that is linked, to the economy and money in general, because we feel that from our personal experience, those are topics that are not necessarily very well explained and taught at schools and in the traditional system. And these days, everyone wants to be financially free, financially empowered. So it's a big topic that we see, but there is very limited ways for people to get access to high quality content that is free as well. So this is what we wanted to do. We wanted to build a platform that would provide education, high quality education for free. What we also identified is that there are key pain points that people face these days when they go through education, especially online education. Most of the people, they have a very short attention span and they need to be rewarded, right? They're used to be scrolling on social media, and that's how a lot of them get their information from. So what we want to do is include this process, this idea of on-the-go classes into the learning journey. So at Wiser, what we do is that we start from a first principle approach. Is we understand that when you get into online, you realize that you get overwhelmed with information. So if you enter what is Bitcoin, you're going to get like a million videos and you don't really know where to start, what comes first. So the first thing we want to do is provide user with a structure. So, that this is where you start and those are the different bricks that you have to learn in order to go forward. So this is how we structure the curriculum with different modules, chapter, classes, and at the end of each class, there's like a quiz. So that was the first idea. Then the second idea is to put very short classes so that it's very easy for the user to understand. And we break down every hard concept into very small, easy to digest concepts. So each class will focus on a single concept so that the user can understand. We call that layered learning, right? So you put layers into each other. And the last item that we use is the gamification element. So we understand that people want to have fun. They need to have some sort of mechanism that rewards them and incentivizes them to move forward. So we include a lot of like gamification element. There are XP level ups. There's a leaderboard. People compete in the leaderboard. At the end of each week and each month, people get rewarded based on their ranking on the leaderboard. So we're trying to make it very fun to play with. And the final element is the social element. So these days, everything is social, right? Everything you do, you want to have a community around it. And this is something that also lacks from the current education system, especially when you do online education. So this is what we wanted to bring to the app, this feeling of community, of being part of something bigger. And this, we do that right now, we do it through different social media platform and channels that we have, but we're going to be including this into the app in a more streamlined way as well.
Perfect. Okay, so by the way, you misrepresented what you do. You said free education. That's not true. You pay in satoshis for correct answers.
So yeah, we're going a step further here as well. This is, of course, many people in the industry know the learn to earn mechanism. So we added the learn to earn mechanism into the app. So those are small rewards. So maybe one thing that I want to mention firstly is that we're a Bitcoin company, meaning that we don't have our own token. So we don't create tokens. We reward people with BTC. So Bitcoin, the smallest denomination is sats. So we just call them sats.
I took the lessons. I know that the smallest denomination is sats.
There we go. So this is what we do. So there are different ways we reward users. So firstly is when they onboard straight away, we give them 50 sats. So it's small amounts, of course. No one's going to get rich with some sat reward, but the idea is to incentivize and start getting people into the system, because we believe that onboarding people is crucial, and nothing better to onboard people than giving them some sats so that they can start to use a wallet, a Lightning wallet, understand the difference, make some transfers. Maybe if we're lucky, go on Noster, do some zapping. That would be fun too. But that's next step.
That's a teaser, I guess. Yeah.
Exactly. Those are things that we're going to be including as well. But yeah, so you get rewarded when you join. You get rewarded with a referral code. So you have a referral code you can share with your friends. You get 50 sats for everyone you refer. And then the biggest part is at the end of each class. So you have a class, you have a set of questions. If you complete 5 at least out of 7 questions, you might find a treasure chest. And once you have it, you can open it and you'll see if what you find in there. And it's usually some shiny sats.
Yeah, they're all shiny. So yeah, to be honest, I did a lot of the classes. I never read it's like, we have this meme, too long, didn't read.
TLDR.
The classes were not too long, but I just did the quizzes, and the questions you picked were really good, and it's going step by step, and it's very valuable. So
thank you.
I also had a chance to talk to one of your co-founders, Sanya. And when we were talking, she said that you guys were a friend of 5 people, like in real life friends. That's also very cool. And I think you guys are lucky, because for me, I'm also lucky, because when I got into Bitcoin together with friends. Otherwise, I would be like, is this real? Is the world really as messed up as it is? So yeah, my friends were there to keep me grounded. So yeah, do you want to tell me about your experience on how you orange pilled each other basically? And
of course. Maybe I can start with actually even earlier experiences. So my background, I studied economics university, and then I was working in the traditional financial industry. I was in PE, and then I did some VC.
That's some good orange pilling, by the way, working in the financial industry.
Yeah, that's exactly how it started, right? So understanding economics and being in this space, where I started realizing that, well, we have a little money problem here, right? Government controlled debasement of the currency, and overall, just centralization of power and control by a couple of individuals that might not necessarily have your best interest in mind. So that's when I started, getting into Bitcoin. Got into Bitcoin quite early through actually a family member who was super early into the space. And initially, like everything, we're like making fun of him. What's that magic internet money you're talking about? But ultimately, it started to click a bit more as I saw the system and started understanding the value prop. And this is also something, when it's really young, the chances of it failing are very high. So it's not that easy to identify those things. But as
Linde effect.
Correct.
Yeah, so, the longer something survives, the longer it is expected to survive, basically.
Exactly. And as networks started growing, hash rate growing, usage growing, it started to feel like, people might like this and might actually use it. So that's when I started getting really interested. And initially, I was just orange pilling people myself. I was talking about that constantly, talking about, why it doesn't matter, why it's different. And at some point, it started clicking. We're like, there's a big education problem. So instead of just doing it one by one, let's scale, let's leverage, let's use the internet, let's use what we have, the tools we have to expand this message and provide it to anyone across the world. So we don't have to do it individually. And, we met through, different means. So actually, we're 5 co-founders, and 2 of them have already created a company in the past. Together and sold it. So they had an exit recently, and the other 2 as well are have founded a company together, which was a software development company, and so that's why we started to be in the same mindset in terms of starting being focused on Bitcoin, focused on the mission of education. And so we realized that together we had all the competencies in house to do this by ourselves. What's interesting is that we're a very lean team, so we don't have employees today. You know, we're just the 5 co-founders working on it. You know, the 2 of them are focused on the development. 3 of us are focused on operational and content. So it's working quite well, and we're pretty happy with the way we're scaling. So we're getting quite.
It looks like it's working pretty well, I guess, because I use the app, and yeah, it's working pretty well so far.
Yeah, it's growing well. We haven't even started, you know, any sort of marketing or advertising. So right now it's just purely us on Twitter, you know, talking.
Is it your first podcast as a
Yeah,
company?
this is our first podcast.
So I'm a cherry popper for you guys.
Exactly, yeah.
Perfect.
Popping the cherry, indeed.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
I
it's
don't
awesome.
know how I'll translate this into Turkish, but we'll see.
You can just put a meme.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so it was awesome, you know, a different background, all come together for to work on this singular mission.
Yeah. So what was your debut date for the app?
So the actual day we went live was roughly 6 weeks ago. So we went live 6 weeks ago. We have like over 3,000 users already. As I said, you know, no ads. So we're hoping that once we're fully happy with the product, we're going to start pushing ads and start growing expansion.
I think I started using the app on the 31st of March. So
maybe you were beta users. So we had a beta version before the live version.
I'm not sure. Probably because you know, I remember seeing the app, following it, and then Sanya like sent a DM to me. He's like, "Oh, do you want to try our app?" I'm like, "No, I'm already on it. I'm already testing it." Yeah.
Yeah, that was the beta phase. So because on the beta phase, you can be on the Google Play Store and on the Apple test flight. So yeah. Exactly. So you have the both option, but officially, you know, we started 6 weeks ago with the live versions.
Oh, that's
but
perfect.
It's been in the making for a year. So
yeah,
it's been making for a year. Content is also a big part of it. You know, we need a lot of content to start, so we waited, gathered, focused on building this as well.
Yeah, I was like, when I was talking to Sanya, I like suggested, or maybe even in the future you can add stuff like Bitcoin Twitter trivia. For example, who is the Bitcoin psychopath that's doing the Twitter spaces for the last 500 days or something like that, you know?
Yeah, but this is something, you know, we're looking to put in the roadmap. So as we add gamification elements, where we're looking into different sorts of games, challenges that user can do together. You know, the social element for us is key. Mm-hmm. We want people to have fun, come back, play, compete, win prizes. So those are a bunch of games that we're going to be adding as well.
But also with Bitcoin trivia, you can tag the people. Could be good marketing.
That could be interesting. Good point. I'm going to note this down.
Yeah, do it. I really like, you know, I'm not in your company, but I'm in your singular mission. I want to hyper Bitcoinize. Yeah, I want to be part of hyper Bitcoinization.
Of course. Yeah. But also, I mean, I think it's especially relevant for you and your audience. You know, in Turkey, the currency situation. I know that 2 days ago there was a big 7% drop in Turkish lira. So, you know, this is something that affects everyone across the world, right? Whether you like it or not, it's something that's going to affect you. And this is something that you're not told enough. So, you know, when you're at school in this traditional system, they tell you, you know, focus on your job. Like if your job is to be a waiter, then just focus on your job, you know, and save money. But what they don't tell you is that today everyone needs to have, you know, at least a second job, which is being a financial manager, because, you know, if you don't know what you're going to do with them, with your finances, you're always going to be scrambling. You're going to be, you know, living from credit card debt to credit card debt, not understanding how to get out of the race. And there's only, you know, a single answer to that is to understand how the system works, understand why it works this way, and what can you do to protect yourself or to position yourself to be optimized. And I think this is something we are missing, and this is something that we really are passionate about bringing this knowledge to everyone.
Yeah. So the first podcast I ever did in Bitcoin space was with John Wallace, and so we had a Champions League of super inflationary countries. It was Turkey, Lebanon, Venezuela, and Argentina. Yeah. So
Exactly.
right now, actually, I'll talk about an example from Lebanon. So there was this friend of mine, Thomas, also similar to your name. He was actually a student of Seyfedin in the university. Yeah, so he was basically saying, well, I don't want to have a job that I have to drive to, for example, because let's say if my car breaks down, what I earn doesn't pay for it. Yeah, so this makes people, actually capable people, not want to work. And I also see it in Turkey because, like, let's say there are so many people that live with their parents, which is fine. But then normally they would want to move away and have their own family. But rents are so ridiculous that whatever you earn in a job you do, you cannot pay for a rent, utilities, and all that stuff. So people just, yeah, sit at home and play video games or waste time,
But
which is
this is really sad because it's just the way the Keynesian system works, right? Because a lot of people don't understand that. They think that. So if you take the perfect example of how it works currently, you make income, you make money, you get taxed, they take a commission of it. You want to buy something, you get taxed, you pay commission on it, right? You want to give it to your family, inheritance, you get taxed, you pay commission on it, right? And people assume that, okay, those are the taxes, but if I keep my money, my cash in the bank account, I'm fine, I'm paying no taxes. But what they don't understand is that there's currency debasement, is that whenever the government prints money, it means that whatever you have, they're taking a share of it. It's becoming less
they're not
valuable. So
taking a share, but they are diluting it basically.
correct. So they're diluting. So for the same amount of cash, you can buy less, right? So in a way, that's also a tax, right? So currency debasement is somehow of theft because you don't even know about it. They don't even tell you about that. So I think it's critical that we get people to understand that, because ultimately what happens is that all that money that is printed is being pushed to assets and equities, and who holds those assets and equities is people that are, that already have money. And what we're seeing today is really the gap between the have and have nots that is becoming increasingly wide, and the middle class completely disappearing. Who can survive the level of inflation that you're seeing, especially in countries. Yeah, Bitcoiners. The only, I mean, right now, it's tough for people in those countries. As you said, you're from Turkey, I'm from Lebanon. Combined.
Inflation friend.
So it's been tough, and the only way for people to get out is education, in my opinion.
Yeah, I also like want to focus. Yeah, this is also an education platform in a way, because I want to teach people about Bitcoin projects, what different people are doing, hopefully to inspire someone that watches this to okay, this is something that I can also work on. And
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think it's the what's beautiful about the Bitcoin infrastructure is that it's something that is really open to anyone. So and especially with today, you can learn a lot of the skills online. So I'm saying, if you're a young person in Turkey looking to get involved in the Bitcoin industry, there are many ways to learn how to code online these days. It's very, very many different tools and things, and especially with AI now, you can even start to automate and get support from that. So I would definitely recommend people to be involved in the space, understand what's happening, understand what companies are building on Bitcoin, because it's gonna be a big thing.
yeah, so I'll tell you something cool. For example, so they found Satoshi Nakamoto Institute Turkey, and yeah, one of the founders is a 16-year-old kid who translates articles and like studies on Austrian economics. And you can start doing stuff no matter how young you are, because it's the internet, and if you create value, you get something in return.
Yeah, someone told me something very interesting is for young people, was advice that was saying something like, don't try to compete, with older generation in their own field, because they have, 10 years experience, 20 years experience over you. But if you go into a field, that's new, then you have the advantage. You know, you're going to be the one that with the most knowledge. So try to compete in the place where you have an advantage. And Bitcoin is a place where, you know, young generation have a huge advantage. And with the Bitcoin infrastructure, I see most business models being disrupted, right? I mean, you have to think of it as more infrastructure play than just a coin or a currency, because
It's
ultimately it's a protocol, which it's like, you know, HTTP or ICP internet protocols. So it's something that basically allows you to share information, data, but does it in a secure way where it can't be replicated. You know, that's the issue we have. And this is actually one of the topics from Jason Lowry. I don't know if you're familiar with soft power. So yeah, it's a system that is made specifically to transfer information in a way that is secure.
Yeah. No, it's younger gen. I always say, for example, people say gold has a first mover advantage, and I say, well, for the newer generations, gold doesn't have a first mover advantage. Bitcoin has that now, so basically that, yeah. Yeah. So, what else do you guys have planned for Wiser? By the way.
So there's many things, you know, we're exploring at this stage. The way we like to build is that we like to build based on users' feedback. So, you know, too many people have, you know, 5-10 year plans and we're going to do this and that, but they don't know how people are going to react. So what we have is, you know, we have, let's say, we have opportunities. There are many things that we can potentially expand into, and we're going to be moving with the feedback from our customers. So basically, once you start with education, the way we see it is that we expect to have 1 billion Bitcoin and, let's say, overall crypto users and in the market in the next 5 years. So those people are people that are going to need education. They're going to need to get into the weeds of it. So we believe that if you start with education, then you have a great user base that you can then funnel into different channels. So whether it's advanced education, you know, providing more education tools, things like master classes, live sessions, you know, very, you know, one-to-one, peer-to-peer learning and so forth. But it could also be things around, you know, social and networking events, organizing, you know, having job opportunities, providing people with, you know, university campus events. So there are many ways we can go. And also, obviously, most people learn about the topic to start investing or saving into the technology. So this is also an avenue that we can take.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, yeah, I think what would be interesting, maybe you could meet this guy, John Dennehy, from My First Bitcoin. He's doing courses in El Salvador teaching high school kids.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Could be an interesting combination between you two.
If you have a contact, please forward it.
That would be maybe awesome. From sailor.org, because I also connect them to you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I was the first one who suggested them that they should do Bitcoin education, and they replied and they started doing it. So
no way, I didn't know that. You should. Yeah, it's you keep that story secret.
A lot of people know that, but it was cool just like seeing the Jeff Davison reply. It's like, yeah, that's a good idea. What should we work on? And I'm like, oh, have Austrian economics or maybe Justin Moon or someone teach Bitcoin coding, and yeah, they did that. So it was pretty cool. Yeah.
Congrats. You helped orange pill a lot of people.
Maybe. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like the butterfly effect, you know. You just write Twitter and butterfly effect combined. You just write something random and somebody sees it and they act on it, or somebody writes something and you act on it. So
exactly the power that we have at the fingertip now.
And really, Bitcoin community is something else. Like the other day, I ran a small poll asking my, like, you know, people who follow me on Twitter if they're hopeful of the future. I think it was 81%, 84% hopeful. So, and I write in English, so I have like people following from everywhere in the world, like, and few Turkish people. So for a Turkish sample set, we have a Bitcoin meetup group. I ran the same poll there. It was 81% hopeful. And then I asked a Turkish friend of mine who is not a Bitcoiner yet, to make a poll, and it was 29% hopeful. So yeah, Bitcoin makes you hopeful no matter where you live or what. So that was really interesting to see, and I just want to have hopeful people around. Yeah, more hopeful people in the world that are, yeah.
Yeah, of course. I think, definitely the Bitcoin is the escape hatch, and a lot of people, when they're too deep into the fiat system, they don't see it. They don't understand that there is a way out. And I think this is what we, as Bitcoiners, have discovered, is that actually the solution is here. Satoshi gave it to us.
It makes you location independent, situation independent. So
yeah, I mean, that's, separation of state and money is inevitable, and I think we're gonna.
I call it, by the way, separation of ownership and state.
And state. That's a good
because
one.
It's not just money; it's ownership. That's the truest ownership you can ever have.
It is indeed.
And this was Jason Lowry, by the way. So.
Yeah, a lot of heat.
Not pre-Max Kaiser, because
never. But what do you think about Jason Lowry's soft power in general?
I like it. I don't like that he portrays Bitcoin as a weapon, but I like the idea that it's a shield. That makes more sense to me. Yeah. So.
It's very controversial right now. I don't know which side to position myself. I understand a bit both sides, and I'm trying to take it, very objectively. So,
I mean, I remember getting exposure to Jason Lowry over LinkedIn before he was even on Twitter. He was like really protecting Bitcoin against some normies on LinkedIn. And yeah, then he started writing his thesis, and I didn't read it yet because, I didn't order the book yet, basically, but
you see,
I
this
read
is something,
some excerpts from it. So
this is something we're adding. This is our next feature that will come out in the next 2 weeks. We're going to do daily news bites. So basically, whatever is the most important piece of news on Bitcoin this week, we're going to recap it into 3 classes with the same process. They're very easy to understand. This is a big pain point. A lot of people don't have time, to do their research and check 5 different blogs and posts. So our objective is to, condense, make it more efficient for people to be on top of their game every day.
I'll send you a Telegram channel, No BS Bitcoin. Maybe you know of it. Just talk to them and have them on your website or on the app, because they really have,
they're on point.
Yeah.
Also, Orange Pill, the Orange Pill app is it's a good place.
Oh yeah, it is. we also had a video together with Matteo about the Orange Pill app. Yeah, that was cool too.
That's nice.
Well, do you have anything like any final things you want to share, or?
I mean, overall, I would just like, if people listen to that, just like to say, as you said, when you're in Bitcoin, you have hope and you become optimistic. And this is something that you do that doesn't come easy. You have, obviously to learn, understand and work hard to understand why Bitcoin matters. But I think once you do, you see the potential. So I encourage and invite anyone to get involved in the space. Obviously, use our app to get into the space. And yeah, we're building this community of people that want that they're interested in the topic. So if you're interested, join our Telegram, and we can have interesting conversations over there as well.
Perfect. Well, thanks a lot for your time.
Well, thank you. It was great.
Yeah, this was a really nice chat. So yeah, hopefully see you around in a conference or somewhere in the world.
100%. We'll stay in contact and we'll try to catch up.
Perfect. Take good care.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Bye.
Take care.
P2P'nin bu bölümünün de sonuna geldik. Umarım bölüm hoşunuza gitmiştir ve Wiser'ı kullanarak Bitcoin hakkında daha fazla bilgi sahibi olmak için sizi motive etmiştir. Önümüzdeki bölümlerde tekrardan görüşmek üzere.